Today on the Never Legends podcast, I have my Loudoun County basketball coaches panel. Mike Desmond from South Lakes has been suggesting that I do this for many years, and I've talked to all these guys one on one before because they've all had such successful teams. Um, Very glad you guys agreed to join me today. Let me just quickly introduce you. Um, Ben Farquhar. I'm just going to my order here so I can keep track. Ben is at Heritage. Had a 28 season last year. Got to the state semis, I believe. Great season. Maybe the furthest in school history. Did not beat the girls team though. I think they got all the way to the championship. That's amazing. I got Jacob Krogh. Jacob's a Broad Run. They were 19-6 last year. Another great season. I believe got to the regional semis, so one game away from going to the states. And I talked to Coach last year, and he had some really good outside shooters last year. Enjoyed watching his team play. And then I got Mr. Hawes, Coach Hawes. With all these guys, I'm glad I don't have my striped shirts on anymore because these guys could be quite collaborative with officials. So today I got my hoodie on. No, but just kidding, Coach. Coach is always a great guy on the bench. He's at Potomac Falls. Had a 19-7 season last year out of nowhere after graduating everybody the year before. But he's been doing it a long time, knows what he's doing. Good to see him again. Then I got Coach Michael Newkirk. We're going to talk to Michael about his UNC football coach and the behavior that they're showing, and whether he has any ideas of having a 25-year-old assistant on his bench this coming up season. But Coach was 21-7 last year. Had an exciting season. Had a late season transfer from Paul VI. Colin Bird helped a lot. 21-7 state quarters as well. And I think Coach might have even got to the state final the year before. And then finally I got Coach KP from Woodgrove. Uh, Coach had to rebuild some last year. Had a really great record the year before, but had a winning record, 11-10. Had a big guy last year. Ended up going to BYU. Can't think of his name, Coach, but had a really one of the best environments of any gym when you see like a Woodgrove, a Loudoun Valley game is a great environment. But anyway, guys, great to see you all. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for
Yeah,
having us.
appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Julian, for having us.
Oh, of course. Well, why don't we go around and you guys like to talk, so I'll put you guys on the spot real fast. Why don't we go around? You guys could just kind of introduce yourselves, your basketball background, and how you got to the school you're at today, and just real quickly, and for the one or two people out there that might not have seen the episode where we went one on one. So why don't we go in the same order? Ben, why don't you go first?
Yeah. So this will be my fifth year at Heritage. Just finished my fourth season. Not to correct you, but we made it to the state quarters last year, not the state semis. I would have loved to have beaten Hanley in that game, but we could not get past them. But
Coach, you're a young guy. You learn as you get older. When you get a compliment, you just take it and accept it.
yeah. Prior to Heritage, I was at Catholic University as an assistant for a year. St. John Fisher College up in Rochester, New York for 2 seasons as an assistant there. And then a small school up near Syracuse called Casanova College. Just kind of did the Division III college thing for a while. And then my wife and I settled back in this area and took the Heritage job post-COVID. And, hopefully I'll be there for a long time.
Yeah. Well, if last year's any indication, it'll be a lot of fun, a lot of fireworks the next few years. Yeah, you got a young squad. How about you, Jacob? Another team that was young last year, and again another gym where I love to go because there was always a lot of energy in the gym.
Yeah. So I got hired first as a teacher at Broad Run. I teach English there. I coached JV under John Costello for 2 years. And then when he hung up the coaching, I got hired there as the varsity coach. So this is now year 5 for me at Broad Run.
Yeah, and you definitely got the coaching bug, Coach.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just as fiery in the classroom. So it's people always ask me like if you had to give up one, and I say don't make me choose. So, but it's fun. I'm all in for Broad Run, and like you said, it's a great atmosphere, great community.
Just in case the principal was watching that, I hear you, Coach. That was great. Well, Coach Hawes, you need no introduction to most, but why don't you give us a little bit about your background? I was trying to remember today. I was going to go back and rewatch it real quickly, but I actually forgot what high school you went to. But why don't you give us your
Yeah,
background?
I played at a school called Broad Run.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
I don't know if you've heard of it.
yeah.
Broad Run, and then was hired as a JV coach right out of college, and was there 9 years. 9 years JV coach. Lifelong dream to be a head coach, and fortunate enough when Potomac Falls was built as the first new high school in 20 plus years in Loudoun. And Mr. Griffith was the principal at Broad Run. He got Potomac Falls and, hired a wild and crazy guy that was only 30 years old. And this is going to be my 29th year as the only head coach in the history of Potomac Falls. So it's been very blessed. Been very blessed.
Yeah, well, you've done a great job. Won a couple state championships at least. You have more fun over there than any coach I've seen. I can tell you love what you do. Kids love it. Potomac Falls is another gym. Just a great environment. You guys, you really pack them up, and you're right there on the court. So it's a place I like to go visit. Had a nice young guard last year. Joshua beat it, I'm sure. Lots in store for him next year. But yeah. Anyway, good to see you, Coach. And Mr. Newkirk, Mike, Coach Newkirk is a guy who puts on a show on the bench. Always like to see him operate. Always well dressed. Always has the guy has a really good time. Always has a lot of exciting players. But Coach, tell us how you got to Northern Virginia and started coaching basketball up here.
Yeah, I moved from North Carolina up here in 2008 and started Open Tuscarora in 2010 as the girls basketball coach, and did that for 9 years, and outstanding opportunity to start and build a program, not necessarily inherit. So I had a unique opportunity, and then like I said, I did that for 9 years, and then the timing was right, so I was able to switch over to the boys side at the same school, and I'll be going into my seventh year on the boys side, and 16th year overall. So yeah, pretty fortunate to get a little taste of the girls and the boys side, and then even more uniquely at the same school. And just to guys, everybody up here know the Tuscarora school community I've grown with it, and it has been outstanding to see the academics and obviously our strong athletics just grow. So yeah.
Tuskegee seems. I'm sorry, Coach. I interrupt you.
No.
Oh, Tuskegee seems to be good in everything. They get tough kids. They get a good mix of kids. I think Coach is being a little humble. You may be one of the few coaches in the state who have gotten to the state final on both the boys and the girls side, especially with the same school. Is that right?
Well, yeah. So I'm not as young, I like to think anymore. However, I didn't get to the state final with the girls. I got to the semifinals with the girls.
Okay.
I did get to the finals with the boys 2 years ago.
Yeah, this is a group. They don't like the compliments in this group. I got to watch overselling. I got to watch overselling this group. Well, Coach KP, my friend Konstantine, another young coach, doing wonderful things. Lots of enthusiasm out there. Tell us where you came from. I remember your story a little bit, but why don't you tell it in your own words?
Yep, no problem. So this is going to be crazy to say, but it's going to be year 4 at Woodgrove. I mean, it's flown by. I've been coaching in Loudoun County for 7 years now. Started at Stonebridge. Started as a volunteer assistant there under Coach Kling, who's still there. And I kind of fast tracked. I just went from varsity assistant to head freshman coach, head JV coach, and then the Woodgrove job opened up, and it was something that was really intriguing to me. It was a rebuild situation, so it was kind of a challenge that I wanted to take on. So it's the only school I ever applied to. It's the only school I ever planned on coaching at in the county. It's become home for me. As you said, Julian, the community, the culture that we've built out there, it's absolutely incredible. So it is home for me. Excited about going into the 4th season, and definitely excited about the recent successes that we've had. It's been awesome.
Yeah. Well, great job, Coach. Of course, you're a big piece of that. Well, why don't we start out? I got everyone right. Why don't we start out talk a little bit about Loudoun County? As you guys know, I just recently moved out here to Lansdowne. Love it out here. I mean, it's just a wonderful community. Fairfax County, they're having some issues with kids transferring to private school. You guys have the same challenges out here at times as well. But then they have this 10-day rule where teams can only play 10 days off season. I'm not sure if I got all that right. and they lost a ton of kids in the off season. I know that Westfield is going to be stacked this year. All those kids are coming back. They're going to be one of the best teams in the DC area. I hope, I think. But it seems like a lot of the top kids left in the off season. Wow, it seems like you guys have some energy going on out here. A lot of young kids last year, a lot of good teams last year. The gyms, again, good crowds all around. What do you guys say about the Loudoun basketball culture? And is it the same all around? I mean, KP is a little bit to the west. It's more rural out there. Coach Hawes is a little bit more established area. That's a more older area of the county, whereas the Brambleton area and the other Heritage area might be a little bit newer communities. But let's talk a little bit about the Loudoun basketball culture and your guys' thoughts on it. This might be a good thing for Coach Hawes to start since he's been here for so long and he's seen it evolve.
You probably don't want me to start on this topic. I've lost a lot through the years, and I kind of liken it to back in the days when guys would leave for the NBA, and it works out for a small percentage of them and a larger percentage it does not, and you don't hear about those kids much. And I don't know. I can coach the heck out of them, but I can't give you an extra year. I can't give you another year like they can. And I don't know. They promised them a rose garden, and you give them that extra year. And I don't know. You might get a little better competition, maybe. But again, for a lot of the kids, it just doesn't work out. I had two leave for Paul VI a few years ago, and one ended up being on the football team and never playing basketball again after his sophomore year. And the other one, he got some nice trips to Hawaii and Vegas, but he never touched the court, and they probably would have been all region for me. I don't know. I don't want to vent too much on it, but there's a lot of good basketball in Loudoun, and I think it's overrated. And like I said, the Jeremy Roaches of the world, it makes sense, but there's a lot of kids I think that shoot too high, and they give up what could have been a good career playing where they're growing up, and I don't know, maybe some of you guys can elaborate on what I'm saying, or maybe you think it's a good move for them leaving, but I think everybody on here has lost somebody, and sometimes we gain one, and that's great, but again, they are able to offer some things that we just can't in the public setting,
Yeah, exactly. That's great, Coach. Coach Newkirk, last year, Colin Bird came to you, I think, about mid-season, and I have never seen a happier player play basketball. I mean, he looked like he was having the time of his life every time he stepped on the court. And it was a joy to watch him play. And I think he's gotten 6 Division I offers this summer. It's funny about these colleges. As soon as one of them everyone offers, and they act like they can't do anything until one offers, which I think is ridiculous. But anyway, it is what it is. But here's a kid that came back to the public school, got playing time right away, and his whole fortune seemed to change with that.
Yeah, I mean, yes, Colin, outstanding player. He's Loudoun County to the core. I think, he had an outstanding prep career up until 8th grade, and then he went to PBI for 2 years. And I mean, he'll be quite frank and tell you that he just wasn't playing. And he wasn't playing, and he wanted to play. Where we began this conversation talking about, guys going from public to private. Sometimes you have to just make the best decision, and I think him and his family made the best decision, and they went from private to public. And obviously, a player of that ability is easily to insert into the normal thing. So yes, getting him this season was a bit challenge at the beginning, but him being able to come into what we were able to do and come help us and obviously lift us last season. But in speaking to the character and the type of person he is, loving to play the game and have fun. And I think his offers up to this point are just a byproduct of what he really wanted to kind of get out of his craft at such a young age.
Yeah, when I saw University of Pennsylvania offer that's big time. Coach, if you're a Division I player, why aren't you playing for Paul VI? I mean, they're a great program. It's just that they have so many Division I prospects that all of them can't play, or did something happen when he went back to Tusky and he just found his wings and it just his game hit another level.
Yeah, if you build it, they'll come. I think if you're that good, they'll find you wherever. And he just kind of just stayed true to that. As Coach mentioned, some succeed and some fail. I mean, that's just the reality of it. And he has a great family that's kind of kept him strong and straight, and it's kind of put him at this point in junction where yes, he has schools that will offer an education for him at the next level. So using that ability to get an education is the key.
Absolutely, yeah. Now actually you can make a little money as well if you really get to the next level, which is also an interesting development. Anyone else want to jump in on this and the relative opportunities between private and public and some of the experiences you've had since you've been there? Yeah.
Well, I'll say what Mike said. They'll find you, and to be honest, where they're going to find you is Pittsburgh, Hampton, AU, and that's where they find these guys. I mean, whether we like it or not, those coaches and in the live periods, they can go to those places and find them and have 400 kids that they might take a shot at,
Yeah.
and again, unless they're reclassing or they can go in the WCAC, I don't think it helps them that much. I think where you play if you're that level of player, is bigger than playing public or private to me. And I mean, you said Mike Desmond. I mean, look at Jordan Scott. He stayed home. Look where he's at.
Doing pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion on it. But again, it does work out for very few kids in the right situation. But
Yeah.
Coach, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jacob.
Well, I was just gonna say, Mike, what you said about, you're talking about calling, if you build it, they will come. I think as a coach, that's kind of the mindset you need to have, like, for your own program. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm gonna believe in what I'm doing here. I'm gonna coach the kids that want to be here. You know what I mean? And if we build the program, the kids will get here. Like the high profile transfers are, everyone likes to talk about it, but I think there's something to like meeting your middle school kids, sixth, seventh, eighth grade, you know what I mean? And trying to build a program that's attractive to people. And if parents and kids think they got to go somewhere else to get that, that might be the best decision for them. But I think if you build something in-house, there's something you can't really replicate about playing in front of your hometown crowd too. I think we have a good product. So I don't know. I'm trying to get myself to focus as much on that as I can.
Yeah, because it's in your control. You really can't control what all these parents and the kids are going to do. You can only control your own program. KP, so in Woodgrove, I know that Connor Salmon, almost maybe even a 5-star football player, ended up going to Bullis. I think more for track than football. But Coach Barlow was just retooled, and they're 2-0 and they're looking great. And that's the kind of culture you guys are talking about. And I know that's what you're building out there as well. Do you still find, even though you're a little bit further out, but the private schools can still reach you out there in Purcellville?
Yeah, yes and no. I've been lucky that I haven't really lost anyone yet. Keyword yet. I'm sure at some point it's going to happen. My first year when I took the job, we had a kid named Matthew Shelton who was supposed to go to Woodgrove. He ended up transferring and went to Evergreen Christian. I think he's playing Division I now. But if I had a kid like that my first year, the transition would have been even that much smoother. I think for us out there in Western Loudoun, these middle school kids grow up watching the Woodgrove Loudoun Valley rivalry, and they want to be a part of it. They want to be ingrained in that. I think, as Coach Hawes mentioned, there's something to be said about, and even the way that I grew up, and I'm sure the rest of the coaches on the panel grew up, there's something to say about being the man at your public school, just being that guy, whether it be football, basketball, whatever sport you play. So luckily I've been able to retain, but just as Jacob said, like that's all culture. Like kids got to want to play in the program. I gauge a lot. It's funny. I actually gauge a lot how the program's doing based off summer camp. So if I get a lot of kids who want to come to camp, who are excited about going to Woodgrove, I just, doing it old school, having kids come to the camp and playing on that court that they're one day going to play on, I just build. So yeah, we've been fortunate enough not to lose anyone yet. Keyword.
Yeah, that's great, Coach. Coach Ben out at Heritage, which is right down the road for me. It's a newer school, and it's a school where you're building culture, you're building identity. You do have some energy in there because the newer type of schools seem to get lots of kids. Is that something that you worry about as kids are leaving, or do you just like Coach Jacob and the rest of the crew, you just try to build your own culture and let it go from there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough. It's one of those things where, I mean, I'm sure, you guys are all the same. We hear rumors, it seems like every day. I mean, I'm getting text calls, emails about this person's leaving, this person's coming in, that person's leaving. Like it's gotten to the point now where I've told my assistants and my athletic director, just tell me who's enrolled at Heritage in September, and I'll coach those kids because I'm not chasing people. Like I got I mean, you guys are all the same way. You got families, you got jobs. I'm not chasing kids around trying to get them to stay at Heritage. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We kind of just rely on our own culture and our relationships with them in the building, outside the building, with their families and, the school administrators. And we feel like, the Heritage community as a whole, just outside of basketball, is strong enough that, we're going to keep the kids that want to be there. So I wouldn't say, it's something that we worry about. Because again, it's outside of our control. Kids are going to do what they want to do. Families are going to make sometimes decisions that they feel like are best for them that we may not agree with, but we're going to support them, whatever decision they make. So it's just something where we have so much other stuff to worry about off the court. I'm not necessarily concerning myself with the day-to-day of who's contacting my players or, those sorts of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Best way to look at it. What about the way Loudoun County is set up? As you guys know, Fairfax County, the schools are a little bit bigger. Most of them about 2,000. Loudoun County are anywhere from like 1,300 to maybe 1,900. So a little bit smaller, very close together. I mean, like where I live, some days I'll decide which of you guys' ball game I'm going to go to. I have 8 schools within 15-minute drive. I could go to any of these schools. It's crazy how they built the schools out there. But also you have different classifications within the same county. You got 4 and you got 5, 2 divisions of 4, and then you have, I guess, 1 division of 5 that's gone up to I think 7 teams or 8 teams this year. Actually added some. Whereas in Fairfax County, Arlington, Alexandria, they're all 6s. Is the setup of Loudoun County set up well? Do you guys like the way it's set up to build a basketball culture in the county?
I'll start. I like Loudoun. Just they've done yes, there's a lot of schools. Loudoun is big, but Loudoun does a good job of building school pyramids. Where you have a high school and kind of feeds into one middle school and a couple elementary schools, and that helps bring and build a sense of community. Kind of showing my age a little bit. I have seen Loudoun grow. Not in the sense of the 17 schools, but I think since I've been coaching, there's probably been about at least 6 to 7 schools that have been open, and just to see the community strength in there. So, the frame. Loudoun's a big county, and yes, it does seem like we're close together, but uniquely, each community is kind of separated through their school spirit. So it's pretty neat.
Yeah. Anyone else want to comment on the kind of the Loudoun school and the way the schools are set up?
I mean, I know for us, my first 2 years, I think, and Jake, I think our timeline is the same. We just had the one district where it was 9 of us with Parkview, and then they split it and they set us on different sides. So now Jake and KP are on one side and Mike and I are on the other. And I think because we lost Champ this year, now there's only 4 on your side and there's 5 on ours. For me, I would just love some continuity. And I know that, a lot of this stuff is outside of their control, but I think our region tournament is changing. Our district tournament is changing as well. It's just a lot of stuff to try to keep track. Again, it kind of goes back to the last question. It's just a lot of stuff to keep track of. How do we make it to the state tournament? Who are we playing this year? How many games am I able to go schedule on my own and, get outside this county? Cause I'm tired of playing, Mike 5 times a year. I want to go see some other schools. So for me, it's just frustrating the year to year change. And I know that, a lot of that's not in anybody's control, but it can just be frustrating at times.
Yeah, it should. It is. There should be the schools play each other way too much. The rivalries are fun. I enjoyed the Heritage Husky games last year, but they were so familiar. There should be one. All the schools should be in one classification. If you have a difference in 200 enrollment, that's only 50 kids per class or something. The fact that Independence came down or went up to that grinder of the Prince William County with 19 team region, and Freedom got their sentence commuted and they got to come back to Loudoun County in the safe confines of Loudoun County. It's not fair. The schools, they're only 200 students difference in enrollment. So I know, and as you said, it's not the county's fault. It's just the way they set up the classification systems. When Coach Hawes and I were playing in there were 3 classifications. So in the whole state, there wasn't 6, there was 3. And Loudoun County, they were all AA, and I guess they had changed that when Coach came around. But anyway,
yeah, it is a little frustrating from that standpoint. I think the year we went to the state final, we played Valley, was in that same kind of predicament. We played them 5 times, and yes, there's a level of familiarity with heightened games in the season. So with the small conferences, like again, you're talking about 4A, 5A, which it's only a matter of a few hundred students. Like to see maybe a county conference championship to some extent. That would be kind of cool. Again, not wanting to be tasked with how logistically that looks, but that would be something kind of cool because sometimes we don't get a chance to play across classification lines, but Loudoun does a good job of kind of scheduling most of our non-conferences amongst each other. But yes, that part I agree. But school communities, yes, intact, but basketball and community-wise, I understand. Yep.
Exactly. I even think at one point, KP, you guys in Loudoun Valley were in different districts, right? And you're like 2 miles apart. Is that still the case?
Yeah. We still are, but like just Coach Newkirk just said, like I had to play them 3 times in one season, and it kind of the familiarity aspect, like that's there, but it's hard to beat a team like once, let alone 3 times. So, and it kind of takes away from the rivalry aspect. Like we have to play them every year twice, no matter what. I'd rather just play them once. Because bragging rights for the year, it'd be a more crazier environment. We have Patrick Henry College down the street, like we could play it at a neutral site. So it's just I don't know. I hate the whole even the year before last, I had to play Jacob 3 times, but it's just I just rather play different teams. So like this year, I think my first 5 games were all on the road. I'm going to Richmond, Virginia Beach. Like we're getting out of here. So we get our ass whooped a little bit and then come back and play in Loudoun.
Yeah, it's weird. I think if you take a sports management class in college, the first thing they teach you is when you make brackets, you try to separate teams so that if all the good teams are in one bracket, at some point you put them in different sides of a bracket. This is like 101, and I just feel like the VHSL, they've never really taken that kind of direction. They used to. When I was young, it was so well set up, and now it's just it's a disaster. I don't want to get you guys in too much trouble by talking bad, but
it's very messed up. Yeah. And the way the seedings are done, and then the home sites, the way we go home sites all the way until the state championship game. I mean, Riverside having to go play Albemarle on their home court this year. I mean, they're 27-1 and got to play somebody on their home court. Yeah. And that's the hardest place in America to win, Yeah. And we used to have, not that long ago, Harrisonburg hosted the regional Final Four. Man, it meant everything to go to play at JMU, and it'd be a good 3,000, 4,000 people in there. And they'll claim, I don't want to say too much on here, but they claim travel and money, and they don't want to do a host like that. Like we just said, the Tuscarora Heritage, play that at the Patriots Summer. I mean. We played Freedom 5 times in 2020, 5 times. We were 2 of the best teams in the state, 2 of the best 3 or 4, and having to play them 5 times the way it was aligned. Yeah, it's
so guys. I grew up going to Robinson, and Robinson's in Fairfax at 7 through 12, and they hosted back then the district and the regional tournament. Eventually, just the regionals. but every round of the tournament was at Robinson. And so as a student at Robinson, I would get there 2 or 3 o'clock and just watch basketball games all day.
Yeah.
And then the regional semifinals, and Coach Hawes was around, there would be 6,000 people there. It was a place to be seen. I mean, the Final Four, everybody would be there. People would come back from spring break. Even if your team wasn't there, you'd go just to be at regionals. It was a big deal. So we had like 26 teams in the region. One team would go to state. So to get to the Final Four, it was such a huge thing. You know, they've taken that competitive aspect out of high school sports. I mean, there's very few elimination points. As you guys know, you got to keep beating someone, but it's like a snake. You got to keep hitting until they're out of it because of the way they organize these tournaments.
Yeah, we did the same thing in the early 90s. Like Warren County hosted the Northwestern District Tournament when I was at Broad Run. 3 straight days but the first day was 2, 4, 6, and 8. Kids got out of school. The first round was at 2 o'clock. Oh, just it was awesome.
It's unbelievable.
Did something like that these days? Can you imagine? I mean,
yeah, for a basketball junkie, you're just in heaven. But and also one thing, Coach Hawes, you kind of intimated this. You kind of touched this. Is that I know in a lot of the brackets last year, the favorites were unbeatable because like South Lakes and Westfield, they had nothing but home games all the way through. So they were hosting games in the postseason. So a little Lansdowne came up to South Lakes. They had a great young team. You know, they had maybe 60 people there from Virginia Beach, whereas South Lakes had everyone there. It's a home field in the and it was the semis or the quarters, which doesn't seem fair. And I think it hurts the underdog in the postseason to have it that way. But anyway, you can get me on that all that.
Yeah, if you make it to the state semis, just my opinion, you make it to the state semis, you should be at a venue that, that helps create that atmosphere, kind of just kind of an accomplishment of the season, not getting, like you just mentioned, having to travel upwards up the state, sacrificing fans, and then, it'd be a salvage game and you just had this outstanding season. So yeah, that balance. The year that I went to the state semis on the girls, the state semis and the finals, Coach Hawes, you won in that format where VHSL hosted the semis and the finals at, the VCUs or JMUs, but I was at VCU, and which was a great experience, So, but it's unfortunate.
They do that in soccer in the spring. They call it the spring jubilee or something. So all the spring sports all go to Richmond, and they do the semis and finals the same weekend. So you have a little bit of that old feel that Coach Hawes and I used to experience in Virginia. I'm sure you guys had it elsewhere. So they do it in the spring, but basketball, which is the ultimate tournament sport, it's all 1-game sets at a home, court, which is really not that fair in the postseason. You work your whole season, and you got to go play the favorite on their court. Last year, Meridian went down to, I think, Armstrong, one of those Richmond schools, and played. Was it Hopewell? I think it was Hopewell. And, they played a team with 6'8", 6'10", at their home court. And Meridian had a great team. But that should have been on a neutral court at that point in the tournament. But anyway, it's definitely a sore spot for me. You guys, about Loudoun County, though, any other things about Loudoun County, the way we structure it, you guys want to touch on, or did we hit that good enough? Well, one thing I wanted to ask, I mentioned earlier in Fairfax, I believe, or maybe it's a VHSL rule, you only have 10 days you can have 10 games off season now. Is that also a Loudoun rule? Is that a statewide rule, or is that a fair? It's state. Okay. Well, let's talk about that rule. What is the new rule, and what are your guys' thoughts about the rule?
It's just like a team camp. You go to a team camp, or you go to the live period, and you coach your kids. Those days count. You get 10 up for the entire year.
So fall league, summer league, team camp, you get 10 games.
Correct.
And what if you have a volunteer coach? It doesn't count towards your games then?
That's a good question. I think they're trying to. Well, the South Lake Summer League, Fall League with the freshman to JV, they even shut down having a parent coaching and trying to call it just a random name. Wow. Yeah, those days were going to count, I think.
Yeah, that's another reason to send your kid to private school. It's a.
Well, there you go. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah,
and that handcuffs us a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah. Is there any? Do you guys know the background of what we're trying to do? Were people using the leagues as a way to recruit, or is there a reason for the change?
Have you ever heard of hayfield football?
Well, I,
I
I
was in
think
the middle of that last year.
I think part of it is they're trying to protect the coaches, you know what I mean, limit the scope of the off season and what's expected, because I guess we are technically like 4-month employees or whatever. So I think they're trying to protect us. The only problem is like all of us would rather coach. So it's like
Yeah.
I get that you might I part of the rule I think is trying to limit our requirements in the off season, but we all got into this because we're hoop junkies. So I don't know. They never asked me because I would have taken 50 days.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you could just have a volunteer coach and you can come watch in the stands as long as you're there, right? But yeah, Ben and KP, you guys have anything on this, or Coach Newkirk?
Yeah, I'll just say it kind of like put a monkey wrench into our fall league plans. Coach Hawes mentioned the South Lake, so like that was a big thing that my freshman and JV kids did. For us, for fall league, we don't care because we know we have to travel anywhere. We're Woodgrove, so we got to travel up that way. Luckily for varsity, we were able to get into Tony's fall league. We do it every year. But even the way that that's set up, like there's teams that play maybe 2 games in a day and then they're off for like 3 weeks. So it's really weird to kind of like try to build some team chemistry in the fall because you're off for so long. So then you're relying on your green days. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're like KP. We're gonna go do the St. James Fall League again. We did that last year, and it was great for us. See some other teams, outside of this county. But again, like we were gonna go do some college stuff, go to Lynchburg, go to York, go to some of these other 1-day shootout things. But it's just hard to keep track of the number of days that we're allowed to do it. Calling parents, asking them to coach, those sorts of things. So I don't really understand the rule. Again, I think I don't understand what the negative side of us coaching our players is. So for me, it didn't make a ton of sense, but again, just like KP said, it really kind of throws a wrench into your plans for the off season. So
Yeah. Yeah, you're talking about the Hayfield situation. That affected me as well. They can't, with podcast, now I have to get permission and all these things before, and I can only ask certain questions. I'm like, I'm not going to do all that for a podcast where I don't get paid, guys. I'm trying to help bring visibility to the game. So there's a lot going on, and I think I'm not blaming the Hayfield team so much, but it was a situation I think has caused some of this for sure. But um, but we'll work it out. Coach Ben, does it help that your kids seem very close? I know they coach. Some of them played for Coach Williams and AAU. At least your kids are close. At least they'll have that connection off. So if you're not coaching them, at least you have that, right?
yeah, so 8 of them play with Coach Williams on the D1SA team, and then the other 2 are playing for the same Nova 94 team. And they're all close, and I think that's what's cool about if you want to go back to the Loudoun County conversation. Like, I know a lot of our kids will play pickup with the Tusky kids, and they're very familiar with the Broad Run kids. So I think that sense of community is really cool. And again, it definitely makes it, just in terms of our team, it makes it easier for me to kind of sit back when I know a lot of them are spending the off season playing together.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the reasons why, as sophomores, they were able to do so much, because they really did play like they were older than sophomores, because they know each other well and they believe in what they're doing. And obviously, you did a great job too, Coach. But anyway, anyone else want to touch on this, or did we kill it? I did want to go back and give you guys a chance to kind of recap your last season. Now, I really believe it was an amazing season in Loudoun County. And you guys, there were some really good basketball played. Lots of good young players last year. I think maybe the year before, maybe a lot of seniors had graduated or something. I know Coach Hawes definitely had some seniors. But the games were great last year. So why don't we go through? Maybe you guys can just recap 2023 with 2024, the 23-24 season. So why don't we go in the same order? Coach Ben, I'm sure that was a fun season for you to recap.
Yeah, no, it was a ton of fun. We got our butts kicked a lot the year prior, when we were starting a lot of those younger guys. So it was great to kind of see the off-season work that they put in pay off. Obviously we're disappointed with how it ended at Hanley. We thought we would have given them, a better game than what that final score was. But, everybody's coming back. And I was just talking to my athletic director last week. I think we're bringing back like 98% of our scoring or some, statistic like that. So we're really excited about this year. And just kind of as they get older, and we've been spending a ton of time in the weight room, which is, kind of the biggest jump I think we need to make. So it was a really awesome year for us. Obviously, it was just a good basketball year for the school as a whole, with the girls winning the state championship and, us kind of feeding off of each other in that regard. So, really looking forward to making another run this year.
Yeah, and coach, any of your basketball players play football? Any of those guys?
No, we have one golfer, but everybody else is basketball. We had a couple try out, and I think they played a couple games last year, football, and they turned their stuff in pretty early and came running back to us. So we were excited about that.
Yeah,
that never bothers a basketball coach.
Yeah.
Not gonna hold that again. Not gonna hold that against him. As a matter of fact, some of the old school coaches used to hold football against players in this, and that was a time where there were lots of multi-sport athletes. Three sport athletes was almost the rule when I played back in the Stone Age. Coach Jacob, you were another team. I saw you guys 2 years ago against Yorktown, and obviously I thought you had a good team. And then last year Ryan joined you, and you definitely were a team to beat. You got my eye early in the fall league when you put a 20-point win on South Lakes and Coach Desmond, and I was glad to be able to tease him about that game a lot, because Mike is my friend and he allows me to tease him. But talk about your last year. I know it must have been an amazing season for a young coach.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was the first group of kids, if I'm doing my math right, that was the first group of kids that like I had been the varsity coach for their whole tenure. So, like a lot of those kids were on our freshman team, our JV team, that kind of thing. So it was a lot of fun in that sense. And then we had a big blank district championship banger hanging there. I don't know how much it weighed on the kids, but I think it was like 2003 was our last district championship for boys. So to get that and get 2025 put up there was a big deal for us. Only one team ends happy in each division, so obviously didn't end the way we wanted either. But I think that like district championship had been a target for us for a long time. So definitely like there's a lot of pride there from those kids, and it is fun to just see one group of kids all the way through for 4 years. Like that was really a highlight.
Yeah. Hey, Coach, I hate to bring this up, but I seem to remember you guys had a possession late in the last game, so that game was a game. I'm not saying you blew it, but it was a winnable game. It was one of those games that could have gone either way.
I don't think you hate to bring that up. I think you like to bring that up.
No. I don't have a dog in the fight. I like your team a lot.
No, that was a great game. We figured it would be, something like that. So
who was that game against? Just so for the people that don't,
I think it was Heritage out of Lynchburg.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I texted Julian earlier and asked him to make sure that question got asked. So.
Yeah, there was a smile on your face. I'm like, my man does not hate to bring this up one bit.
No. Well, I'd forgotten back. I got to remember that you guys played so much. I was at another game that night, and I think I had talked to Ben, Coach Ben, and I was thinking about going to that game, but I think I ended up going to South Lakes. I forgot what game I ended up going to, and that game ended up being a blowout. And so I was watching your game on my phone the whole game. And it was an early game, I believe. I think it seemed like it was an earlier game, but maybe not. But anyway, it was definitely magical type of ending for the winner. And unfortunately, as you said, someone has to lose. But you got some great kids coming back. So as they say, run it back this year. Yeah. So Coach Hawes, I know last year the expectations couldn't have been that high, even though you're a great coach, but you lost so much. You lost your quarterback. I can't think of his name with the Madison. You lost the kid that transferred from Florida. I can't pull names today.
Marshall. Yep, David
Yeah,
Marshall.
but you had a really, really athletic, solid senior laden team the year before. So going into last year, you must have been like, how am I going to do this?
Yeah, we graduated 10 kids from that 28-1 team. And we literally returned 7.2 points per game. And honestly, about a kid and a half had played it all. So it was definitely we started 3 sophomores all year. First kid off the bench was a sophomore. And we were 9-1 at Christmas. And we had Riverside beat one night,
I was there
towards the end there, but no one was really beating them, that was kind of the year they built for, and they took advantage of it, but could have been any happier with my kids, and right there on the doorstep of 20 games. And we stubbed our toe a little bit. Riverbend was a good ball club, though, very athletic, and the game took on a weird tone. It was in the low 40s. And, we had a couple bad possessions towards the end there. A couple kids finally showed their age that they hadn't shown all year long. But we definitely were excited with how the year went. And we're real excited now. All those kids coming back. And one of my main kids is a quarterback for the football team. It was on the training table the other night and speaking of the football,
Yeah. Okay.
So, we're very excited. Don't want to say too much. It's September 7th. I don't know who's going to make the team.
That's right.
So it truthfully is. It's going to be really tough to make our team this year. I'm not looking forward to that, and but it's a job that we all got to do. And we're opening up with a school called Heritage. Speaking of,
Yeah.
So and then we follow that with Albemarle on a Friday night.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Again, kind of like KP said, we kind of did that on purpose this year. We play South County in December as well. So we're going to see what we're made of pretty quick.
Yeah. The Stafford Fredericksburg teams are always very athletic. They seem like they're not necessarily as skilled, but they always seem like they get after it and make you play. They kind of make you play ugly down the area. Hopefully no one down there is listening to me. Coach, I remember you had two really good young guards last year. How are they coming along?
Oh, good. Yeah. And as far as I know, they're still in my school. Speaking of our earlier conversation.
Yeah, I gotta knock on wood here. So.
Yeah. One of them plays with all of Ben's guys all summer. Yeah. And I almost went out there and started guarding him the other night because nobody could stop him in our first workout the other night. But he's a pretty good little player. And the point guard, he's a pretty good.
Yeah, I like the kid.
Good vision. So we're excited.
Yes, he's got that step back jumper. Coach, did you use all 5 of your fouls when you're guarding that kid?
I'm sorry?
Did you use all 5 of your fouls when you were guarding that kid the other day? Didn't you say?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I couldn't guard the chair that I'm supposed to sit in anymore these days. So yeah, okay. I would be hacking. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Coach Newkirk, you had a very athletic team last year. You could shoot the ball, but you had Charles Battaglia, Hayden Collins, obviously Colin we've talked to. You had kids you had really good athletes as well as good guys who can shoot the ball. So, and then you had the big guy, Joshua Fagan. I think I got his name. Was it Joshua Fagan or
Fagan?
I'm sorry. Great athlete, battler. I really enjoyed watching your team. So tell us about your last year's team. You definitely kept the level up from the year before.
Yeah. We were excited as everybody is in November, and we were able to kind of present a product last year that, we struggled a little bit early. We had some ball handling issues. I had just graduated a really good guard mixture. So we were kind of finding ourselves up to December. We got a little taste of Potomac Falls early. We were feeling really good. They had a pretty senior-laden group, and going into Sterling into his place, it was a little rowdy. I think we were up. And again, just speaks to what Coach Hall's been doing for year after year, just coaching just tremendously. But we kind of found ourselves, with the addition to Colin right around Christmas. We kind of found ourselves early January. And I think Colin's first game was against Heritage over at Heritage. And we stumbled a bit there, but was able to kind of find our footing, and we were able to kind of finish out the season en route to regular season champs and tournament champions, and regional tournament champion. We lost the tournament championship to Heritage in our gym. One of the many games that we played last year, and we felt good for 60 minutes in the state quarters to EC Glass, and third quarter just kind of came out really flat, man. And I actually just stopped having nightmares about that, because I thought coaches, we could have been a little bit better for our players. They obviously gave it everything they got, but we probably could have been a little bit better to kind of dictate or exaggerate that outcome. But great season. Again, coming off of our third straight 20-win season, state appearance. But what we had, we felt like we were at least one more game better. But hats off to EC Glass, and in a jam-packed 4A, all the classifications last year was pretty solid, and we anticipate that same grind again this year.
Yeah. Coach, anyone he's got really, really big shoes, but anyone offhand to replace Mr. Fegan?
So, Colin, who's had an outstanding offseason, that has propelled him to be one of the better players in the area, and one of the best players in the state. But he's going to be complemented with, you mentioned Charles Battaglia. We call him Chaz Battaglia. He's our shortstop. Up until Colin came, he was averaging right at 18, 19 points a game. When Colin came, he kind of stabilized at about that 16, 17. First team all conference, and he's actually focused more on basketball this all season, so he's going to come back in with a little more high power game. And then another guy that we had in all conference return would be Hayden Collins. He's actually grown. Really excited about this kid. He's had a really, really good, strong all season. He's posing at about 6'7", a legit 6'7" now. Different type of six, different type of size. Josh obviously looked like a linebacker, tight end type of ordeal. And Hayden kind of poses a little different stretch four type of threat that we're really looking forward to seeing him produce this year for us. So, Colin will be Colin do great things for us. He has some great complementary players. And then, I'll be remiss if I didn't mention, players like Kevin Worley. He's going to be pretty solid for us. He's a third-year varsity player. We're really looking forward to kind of replacing some of the things that we lost last year.
Coach, is the Virginia Academy, is Coach a son on your team? Wasn't his son on your team?
Yes. Jordan. He's at now with his dad over there.
Yeah, I wondered about that. Yeah, well,
it was only a matter of time. It was only a matter of time. That was fine. That was okay.
That's a transfer you're not going to be able to argue too much about. If the father is the coach, we'll have to let that one go, right? Yeah. So, all right. Well, great, Coach. I'm looking forward to seeing what you're going to do. KP. Now, again, you had a really strong squad the year before, and you had to fill in some pieces. You had some good size last year, and I know you had a guard who'd been with you for a few years as well. But let's talk about your 24-25 season. Yeah.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, it was kind of a rebuild, but maybe an unintentional rebuild. We could never really fully get healthy. Kenny Chicos was that guard that you were mentioning. Poor kid, he breaks his ankle in the fall league, comes back, then, has a finger injury, then another ankle. So we could never really fully get it. We had some guys that stepped in and gave us some good minutes and did some things for us. Obviously, Dane Marsh was a big guy that we had. He's at BYU now. I don't think he's playing basketball. I think he's baseball. But he was a true big man. Somebody who played back to the basket. He could do a lot for us. So we never really found our groove. We started the season with Riverside, Heritage, Atlee, and Patriot. 4 games in a row right there. I think that's 4 teams with combined don't even have more, like 10 or more losses. So that was an eye opener for us. We were able to kind of find our groove once we got into Loudoun play. I think we won like 8 in a row or something like that. And then, we got into district play, and it was everybody else, versus Broad Run. Broad Run's cream of the crop, and it's going to be like that again this year. Then we got upset by County in the district semifinal. We lost by 2. I will say, and this is something I talked about with Jacob at the coaches meeting. I felt like, when you go into the season with all these expectations, it's a privilege, but also as a younger coach, and it's a testament to Coach Newkirk and Coach Hawes, who've been doing this for a long time, who are coaching as winners all the time. But I totally felt that pressure, on the sideline of feeling like we had to win no matter what. So it was almost kind of a relief, when it all ended. Just because now I'm able to refocus. What's life going to look like for us now, not having a big man. I know we all say, we're super excited for the season. We're always excited for our teams. I think this year I am incredibly excited. I'm probably going to have 6 sophomores on varsity, maybe 3 freshmen. So we're going to be relatively young. We do have good senior leadership. Caleb Roach is a name to look out for. He just committed to Hood College. He's a fantastic player. We've got guys that have come up through the freshman and JV ranks. Santiago Holsing is a name not many people have heard, but he'll be a 12 to 14 point a night kid. So we're going to look a lot different. Defensively, offensively, I think I can finally get into my schemes and tricks a little bit more than I could when having a big man on the floor. But I think the trajectory for the next couple of years for us is going to be where I want it to be.
Coach, you had a light-skinned black kid that come off the bench last year. He looks like a basketball player. The guy's got a great body on him. I like the way he moves. Is that a kid you're going to rely on this year?
Yeah, so we have a couple. He was fantastic. We also have a freshman. I had a freshman point guard last year. So it's funny. I also talked about this with Ben. Like, I'm kind of adopting the Heritage model, and I think it's a great model because when you get all these kids playing together when they're young, it's only going to hopefully translate to good things. But just watching these younger kids grow, like the freshmen from last year up until now in the workouts, I mean, they're our leaders, and so are our seniors. And I think it says a lot to have seniors who know that they're on a rebuild team. I think sometimes the locker room can kind of get a little iffy there. But we have good mentality on right now. Our seniors want to help the younger kids come along. And that just falls in line with the culture. So I'm excited to see what these young guys are going to do. There's a freshman. I'm not going to say he's made the team because we haven't had tryouts. There's a freshman that we have. I believe he's probably one of the best defenders in the state. I'm not just talking the county, the state. Mm-hmm. So I'll drop that name maybe around tryout time.
That's right. Yeah. Well, that sounds exciting, Coach.
Yeah.
Well, look, thanks, guys. Well, let's go to the districts and talk about some of the preseason favorites, and obviously it's early, and things are still working out. And I know some of you guys, Coach Ben, keep your cards pretty close to your vest, as I can understand. But let's start with the Class 5 division. I think it's called Potomac District, Coach Hawes. Yeah, obviously last year we had Riverside was a dominant team. They had 6 or 7 just tremendous players. They had the kid Mason Ridgway, who's going, I believe, to Evergreen now. Did the other kid we might not know, but they had Max Lawson. Is he back? He's back. Okay. So what are some of the teams to look for in the Potomac this season? Oh, Coach, you're on mute.
Yeah. See, that's why I didn't cut it off in the first place.
It's all right. You're good.
Yeah. Again, don't want to say too much on September, whatever. Stonebridge has some good talent coming back. They brought a kid back from private school who was with them.
A kid that was a freshman 2 years ago. That kid's coming back?
Yeah, he's coming back. So they got some good talent. Lawson and Riverside will have some complementary pieces with him. We like to think we're going to be in that mix. Briar Woods has the Pettibone kid is a good little player, and a couple other kids that are going to be seniors that play hard. Light Ridge lost a kid to Paul VI.
That's a big loss.
Yeah, pretty big loss. Freedom, from what I understand, had a good summer. I'm not too familiar with them last year. Never played on with where they were playing. It's going to be fairly up for grabs as far as trying to predict
Yeah.
who's
And
going to
in
be the top.
I'm sorry, Coach. I interrupted you. In terms of freedom, if it's the same coach, he's got a great reputation.
He does a good job.
Yeah, doing a lot with a little, because that was a very tough district. He's playing Gainesville and Battlefield and Patriot every year, and
Right.
he was always fourth, right there, fourth and fifth, and never an easy out. Anyone else see any of Potomac teams this summer? Or I know you guys are going to play them. Any opinions about some of the Potomac district teams?
My money on Pop Falls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we played Jeff down at Paul Webb, and
That was fun. That was a heck of a game. Yeah.
Opiola hit a buzzer beater at the end. So I mean, Jeff does an amazing job there. So
Thank you.
it's hard to pick against them. So
Yeah. As soon as he scratched me, kept me from coming out there refereeing. Jeff's he's been on a roll like the last 20 years or so. Just kept me from refereeing those games out there.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Is Riverside? We talked a little bit about that. Do you think they can get to the anywhere near the level of last year, or?
No, not even close. No,
Yes.
no way.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's that was a generational year they had last year.
Yeah.
So, but Lawson, I mean, he can play. He can play. He can shoot it. He's kind of guy you're going to have to focus on. And then a couple kids that saw some minutes last year, it's kind of their turn. So they won't be an easy out. They'll be solid.
I love his attitude. He plays hard. Doesn't fuss at his teammates. I thought last year he probably wanted to get more shots out because he could make them, and I felt he was a very unselfish player. So
He's not going to get many when they play us.
shots fired.
Somebody else is going to be
right.
shooting. Yeah.
Okay, and so are we done? I saw Briar a few times last year. I thought they had a lot of good looking bodies out there. Maybe not not the talent level of some of the top teams in the area, but I thought they definitely had some players that could play some.
They had a freshman kid that was pretty good last year.
Yeah. Champs coming in. In the years past, they've been great. I know the coach is now helping out at Saint. Help me out, guys.
St. James.
St. James. He's at St. James now, so I don't know what they're going to have.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting with Champ coming in. Any other players to shout out or teams in the Potomac? I do want to shout out I know your coach. You haven't had tryouts yet, but Josh Arbita, again, one of my favorite players last year. Really liked that kid. There's a kid, Josh, and there was a kid at Forest Park named Jaden. I forgot his last name. He ended up transferring to Bethel this year, but they were so much alike. Both left-handed kids, both really can travel. They could travel far with a few dribbles. They can take 1 or 2 dribbles and get 10 yards. I don't know how they would do that, but they could do that. So anyway, let's go to some of the Class 4 districts. I get them confused. Why don't we start with where Heritage was? Heritage. What do you call that, Coach Ben? Your district?
we're Dulles, right?
You're Dulles.
Yeah.
Let's talk about. You guys are 5 teams this year or 4?
We're 5.
5. Okay.
Yeah.
So who are some of the? And that's Tuscarora also, right, Coach Newkirk? Yeah. So let's talk about Dulles. That's Loudoun Valley also, right? Isn't that district?
Yeah, Valley, Dominion, and then who am I forgetting?
Tuscarora and Heritage and Rock Ridge.
Rock Ridge, that's right.
Yeah, Rock
Sorry, Jake.
Yep. Yeah. And Loudoun Valley, their kid that was first team all district transferred to Virginia Academy, I believe. Is that
the Tal Rose.
Yeah, that's a big loss for them. He's a very nice player. But they had some good teams. I think the coach does a good job there. But is that probably a 3-horse race again this year?
Yeah. I think Dawson always has solid teams, and obviously having to go over to Percival and play them at home, they have an environment which only a select few teams in Loudoun County have. And then obviously Heritage returning everything, Me losing sleep last year trying to prepare for them. I'll lose some more sleep this year. But I do think it'll be, amongst us three for the most part. I'm not really in tune with the rest of the conference, honestly, at this point, because we're focusing so much on us trying to prepare and put a product together. I definitely know that we'll be challenged with Heritage and Valley, for the most part. Obviously, Rockridge is always tough. Play does a great job over there. And I'm not, to me, I know they were really young last year, so they'll take another step. I really like the coach. They'll take another step. Our 5 does get better this year. And it kind of goes back to saying I wish it was a little larger team-wise and maybe merged. I know hearing that Champ went up, maybe merging it, but they got to do what they got to do. But, yeah, I think that, the Dulles District will be another solid representative. We have some teams that can go far in the states.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Ben, I know that you're being awfully quiet over there, but holding all those aces.
I mean, I think everybody knows, just about us and our crew and what we're bringing back. So,
I do want to shout out your point guard. I think he's one of the best young guards in the state. Williams, Mr. Williams. What's his first name again, Coach?
Dylan.
Dylan.
Yeah. I mean, he was second team All State last year. Got voted by other coaches, and obviously played a big role in us beating Atlee and a couple other big wins that we had. But it's really our whole team is kind of bought into what we're trying to do, and So I mean, going out to Valley is always a tough place to play. Chad does a really great job. I know Ryan Williams, who's the coach at Dominion. They're young, but again, they're kind of scrappy, and Rockridge is Jay always does a great job kind of getting those guys ready to play. So, and then obviously, I'm so tired of seeing Colin Bird everywhere I go. So I'm, just tired of playing against that kid. But and Mike does a phenomenal job too. But yeah, I mean, I would also like to see us kind of get back to that one district and play against Woodgrove and Broad Run a little bit more. I think it gives us some flexibility in terms of our schedule. Like we can go play other games, but I think it would be better for our district as a whole to kind of get those games in a little bit more.
Yeah. Coach, I do want to shout out a couple of your players. Mason Miller is a really, really nice player. 6'1", 6'2", kind of a combo guard, or finishes real well. He's sneaky. You see him, and then he gets a lot done out there. I really like the kid. Then you got these two 3-4s that are similar build. I'm forgetting their names, and I apologize, guys. But I want to shout those guys out too. They're both very good athletes, good basketball players.
Yeah, sorry. Did you lose me there?
Yeah, I did.
I think my kids are playing with my internet. So
yeah. No.
Yeah, no, just Mason. I lost you at Mason, but Mason.
Okay. No, I was talking about you. I didn't know if you were kidding me or not, but I was talking about those two. You have these two athletic 3-4s, both good finishers. Kind of, they both get to the hole really nicely. Both can shoot outside some. I just can't think of their last names.
Yeah, you're probably thinking of Jordan Garland's super athletic kid. We played down in Richmond yesterday, and he put somebody in the rim. So we're really excited about kind of the growth that he's made. Mason had 30 points yesterday against a team we played down there, and they played really well. We played LC Bird as well down in Richmond yesterday, and ended up winning that game. So wow. It's just a good group of guys, and it's always when one goes off, they all kind of are fine taking a step back. We played 2 games. Dylan Williams didn't take a single shot. He made a couple layups and was just kind of creating for other guys. So he's done a really great job just playing that unselfish role for us too. So again, we're more of a collaborative team. I think, we can hit teams in different ways with different guys, which makes us a little bit harder to guard. So yeah, we're excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Any other players in the district that we need to shout out? Rockridge or Dominion players in particular, or we'll have to wait and see, I guess, huh? Let's go to the other district is Catoctin, I believe. Oh my God, I can't believe I got that right. So that would be Woodgrove, Is that PBI? No, is that, I mean,
I hope
Parkview?
not.
Is,
Yeah,
yeah, is that Parkview or in Loudoun County?
Parkview County, us, and Broad Run.
Okay, yeah, just the four. Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. Obviously, I would think Broad Run probably a favorite going in, but definitely some competition for them.
Yeah, I don't know what Ben and Mike are talking about combining these districts. I only got to get rid of 3 more teams on my side, and I got it just how I want it. So
Yeah,
yeah, you guys can stay over there.
yeah. Well, make it a three-team district, coach. They could have one more of the teams. Give
Yeah,
them Woodgrove.
take them.
Yeah. So, but how's Ryan Brzezinski doing, coach?
He's doing well. He had a big VHSL live period for us. So kind of college interest has definitely kicked up a notch, which is exciting for him. So I've had some college coaches coming in the building for practices and things like that, which we're looking forward to. So
Is he six
yeah,
six, 6'7", 6'7" now, or
I think he's like 7'2" on Twitter, but if you play against him, he's probably 6'7".
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we have a good group of seniors coming back. Four of them play AAU together, Adam, Ryan, Brady, and Ben. So they've been together for a while, all multi-year on varsity. So it's a fun senior year.
I would think Adam is getting close to being on like some top 10 all-time leading scoreboards. He's got to be. He's made a lot of baskets in his career.
Yeah, the broad run scoring record I think is Jason Lansdowne. Hawes, you might know this better than
Yeah,
I do.
that
I
sounds
think
right.
he was like, I think this might be true. He was up close to 2,000. Do you know if that's true, Hawes? Hawes hasn't been listening. He's watching. Hawes is watching the game. He don't know.
No, I ain't. No, I heard you. I didn't hear who you said.
Is
2000.
it Jason
Lansdowne.
Lansdowne?
Oh,
Is he up there?
I'll argue the best player in the history of Loudoun County if you want to get
Yeah.
on that subject. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, Adams had a great career. He hit 1,000 last year.
Oh, yeah,
Ryan,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, Ryan will hit 1,000 this year. So the two of them, it's been fun.
Are you saying he's the first 1,000 since Jason?
Oh
No,
no,
I was just saying that
Might
Adam's got to
be.
be getting close to being on some top 10 all-time leading scorer. He scored a lot of points in his career. I would
yeah.
think.
Actually, Adam's older brother scored 1,000 as well at Broad Run. So that's kind of the two brothers, a couple thousand points between them, which is pretty fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Jason scored almost 2,500.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Yeah. So, so anyone else in the district we should be shouting? I know KP talked about a couple of his kids earlier. Are there other kids that we maybe Parkview kids, or I know Loudoun County had kind of an uneven season last year, but they had some kids. I thought they were pretty good basketball players.
Yeah, I like what that coach is doing over there. KP, do you know how many of them they're bringing back?
Yeah, I'm not sure. They had a good JV team though, so I think he's going to be bringing back some talent. Parkview has the Filipino kid that's really good. So there's definitely some good players in the district. I just think with Ryan and Adam, I mean those are two of the best players in the state. I would actually have to say I would discuss this. I think Adam deserves even more credit for the fact that he actually had to defer a little bit last year and be more of a facilitator than a scorer. So when you combine that with, Ryan's ability and then the players that Jake just mentioned, I mean, Broad Run's going to be not just good in Loudoun, but good overall. So I can't wait for all of them to graduate and get the hell out of here. That's going to be a great day for me, but for sure, Broad Run is the cream of the crop. And it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be Coach Jacob, who was the kid you had last year, number 10? I love the way he shot the ball. Perfect form. I think he was.
Braden Lee. Braden
Yeah,
Lee.
did he end up
And
playing?
you brought him up last year, and I said I didn't know who his shooting coach was, so I found out who it was. It's Willie Diggs. So you can let Willie Diggs know that you're doing free promos for him.
That's right. Yeah, I'll put his contact information in the comments down
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
So where did you end up going to college, Coach?
He is at UVA.
Oh, he is. Oh, good man. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wrote his college letter of rec, I believe.
Did you? Okay,
Yeah.
you must have said some good things about him. Maybe he can draw for the club or JV team down there if he's into it. Well, look, guys, this has been great. I really appreciate you doing this. I really enjoyed getting you guys one on one, but also getting you as a team, as a panel. Well, I thought and maybe what else have you guys seen around the DC area, not just Loudoun County, but Northern Virginia or even the state? I know we mentioned LC Bird. Uh, I know you guys have probably seen Westfield around this summer. So, who are some of the other teams that you've seen around the area that are going to be competitors in the DC area?
Kid from Hanley. Kid from Hanley is
Yeah, yeah.
he's a player.
The strength in the class four is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable.
Yeah,
Hanley's got 3 or 4 kids.
yeah, Hanley. I think the Dingles is they got another kid that's really really good. They'll be really solid. I mean, they could have easily been to the state championship last year. I thought, that game they had.
They lost by 2. They lost by 2 in the semis, right?
Yeah, they're gonna be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar. Like I said, I'm so focused on us. There obviously you can expect some teams out of Richmond, a beach team. The Green Run, I think they'll be pretty good. I know in Class 4 down there, we're thinking about Verino and so yeah, Kings Ford, yeah. But
Petersburg's going to be loaded.
So you brought up Hayfield and Petersburg. Who else do we need to talk about? Maury in football?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Team loaded Petersburg.
Yeah, they did. Well, in Fairfax, Arlington, Alexandria, obviously Westfield, they had a great young team last year. One of the kids signed with Stetson already, the guard who can really shoot the ball. They've got a loaded team, and they got some young players. They got a freshman coming in. Coach's son's going to be a great player as well. Yorktown's got had a couple sophomores last year off the bench that were good players, and then they got the point guard. I'm freeze on his name. Sorry, I know
Pilot's his name. We played him yesterday. He probably had 25.
Yeah, he's a really good player. So Yorktown's going to be tough. Who else?
We saw Meridian play down at Paul Webb, and I know that they lost a lot, but they can still. They looked really good when we saw them play. So
yeah, Coach Smith does a tremendous job.
Jim does a great job. Yeah.
Does a great job. I think Marshall will be good. They got a kid named Trey Leonardo, who's a really good player. He's a junior. He's tough. I'm getting some decent teams here. I wouldn't sleep on Hayfield, Carlos Poindexter. We all know how great a coach he is. Woodson going to be good this year. Not going to be as good as they were last year because they lost the kid.
They lost one kid.
Yeah, they lost the kid. He reminds me of the kid that came back to Stonebridge, but that kid's very special. He's a very special player. But he's got some players. South County always has talent. They have talent again this year. And Patriot, Coach Rivers, he's not like you guys. He's not afraid to tell you what he has. He says he has a lot, and I tend to believe him. So
very consistent. Yes, Coach Rivers, and he's very consistent. He'll provide a product that'll compete with anybody in the state. Absolutely.
Absolutely. He got some players. So Potomac always has athletes.
Be really good. Potomac will be really good too. Yeah.
It'll be interesting. We got Battlefield has a new coach. I don't know him, but he's got a great reputation. It'll be interesting. He's got big shoes to fill, but they get a lot of kids at Battlefield. So anyway, well, look, guys, this has been great. But hopefully, we can do this periodically. And pick your guys' brain and let the people know what's going on in the county basketball scene. Anyone have any final words, parting shots, or anything else we could end with?
Yeah, I got one, Julian. You make us all predict what's going to happen. When are you releasing your preseason standings?
Yeah. Well, I don't do that in basketball. I'll do it in soccer. But I get to know the coaches too well in basketball. And then, when you go to gyms, they'll tell you about your predictions when I show up. So I usually do it in basketball. I don't usually give any predictions. You can pretty much tell who I think's the best because those are the coaches I'm usually talking to. But so if I ask you to be on the podcast, usually the Riverside guy, I can never talk him into coming in on. But if the other guys, if I'm talking to you, you know that I think you have a pretty good team. Anyway, any other Jacob? Maybe one of these days I'll do I'll do a top 10, but I will probably not put my name on it. So
Now, thanks, Julian, for all you do for.
I appreciate you doing this, Julian.
Yeah, absolutely. All you
yeah.
do for youth.
Well, guys, you do the heavy lifting. I love being able to come into gyms, know you guys. You guys are always very polite to me. It's always great coming to gym, packed house, and you guys. It's always fun. I was great to always see you guys. You guys, like I said, always great guys to see. And also you guys, most of you guys I'm talking to offline as well. So, but look, guys, this has been great first episode. Hopefully, we'll do this again at least a few times during the season. And the coach Hawes, enjoy the football tonight.
Hey, thanks again for doing this, buddy.
Yeah, enjoy it, guys. Take care now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night, fellas.
All right, man.
You guys.
Take care, fellas.
Take care, guys. Yep.